Good morning, and thank you to Amy, to VIFF for inviting me over here. It's really great to see all of you this morning. I just arrived at 1 a.m. today, so if I'm not making sense, it's not because I'm not. I'm just tired. So this year, YouTube celebrated its 10th anniversary. And if I look back on the past 10 years and, the story of online video, to me, I think it's largely been about the story of YouTube. We pioneered online video in 2005 with this video. Can I have a show of hands who has watched this video before? It's really nothing great, right? It's just this guy who's at the zoo, and he's talking about elephants with very big trunks. Okay. Yep, and that's it. And the idea was simple when we first started. It was to let anyone broadcast and share video through online video. When we launched in 2005, I just shared that first video with you. And later that year, we opened to the public with a beta launch. In 2006, YouTube and Google joined forces, and we were one company. And that same year, we launched our revenue sharing partner program. We also launched in-video ads, enabling partners or content owners to better monetize their videos on YouTube. We rolled out our mobile site, and at the same time, we rolled out Content ID, which is first of its class content copyright management system. In 2010, we launched TrueView. Are all of you familiar with TrueView here? Yeah, TrueView, it's a skippable form of ads because we wanted to provide users a more enjoyable experience of watching video on YouTube. And over the next 5 years, we continued to invest in making content better for users on YouTube through features like YouTube Live, and we also created more resources for creators by launching YouTube Spaces around the world. And not forgetting, of course, the milestone that we hit in 2012, the Gangnam Style video, where it hit 1 billion views. Has anyone not watched Gangnam Style here? There you have it. You're one of that 1 billion views. And in 2015, we held the very first Fan Fest in this continent in the downtown of Toronto. Was any of you there in Toronto early this year for Fan Fest? Yeah, great. And there were 15,000 other fans who were there screaming and tearing at the sight of their favorite YouTube stars. I would encourage you guys to check it out the next time we do it, and you'll be able to experience it for yourself. And over the past decade, we have also been continuously innovating in video technology. I remember back in the day, 10 years ago, when you wanted to produce a video, you had to carry a 5-pound heavy device on your shoulders. And broadcasting was meant for professionals. If you wanted to share a video, what did you do? I had VHS tapes, I had DVDs, and I was limited to how many of these physical items I could get and how many of them I could reuse. But today, YouTube offers a breadth and depth of high-quality video experience on nearly any device with a screen, as long as you have internet connection. From all over the world, people are sharing, listen to this, 300 hours of video every single minute on YouTube. And they watch hundreds of millions of hours of videos daily. We're watching 4K, 60 FPS, even 3D videos on everything from phones to TV to game consoles. And to keep the future of video awesome, while helping our users, creators, and partners of all kinds to continue to do so, we're adding new experiences like the 360 video. And multi-camera support, and as well as improving the fundamentals of video processing to get even higher quality videos on lower bandwidth on our platform. And of course, we monetize through ads, so you have to sit through an ad first before you get to watch the 360 video. Has any one of you not seen a 360 video on YouTube yet? Okay. It's pretty cool. My mind was blown the first time I watched it. You're able, so the quality, the bandwidth is a little bit low here, but here's the idea of it. You're able to have a 360-degree view of the entire environment that you're in. Shameless plug, go check out the hashtag 360 channel on YouTube. You'll see tons of videos that content creators have created on the channel. I see a high five there. Did you guys just create a 360 video? Cool. So now, in 2015, YouTube is home to a truly global community. We draw in over 1 billion fans every month, and 80% of that resides outside of the United States. Today, YouTube is localized in 73 different countries, and you can access YouTube through 76 different languages. That covers about 95% of the internet population. And if these numbers still don't catch your mind, you're like, big deal, 76 languages, 73 localized countries. Let me illustrate it with this example. The most viewed video of all time, Gangnam Style, as I mentioned, it still gets 1 million views every single day. In addition to being a truly global platform, the one thing that makes our platform unique is its interactivity. Fans are texting, they're tweeting, they're commenting, they're liking, they're sharing on our platform. And that's one of the reasons why the number of people visiting YouTube daily is up by 40% year on year. And they're spending more time. When they're coming back more, they're spending more time as well. The watch time is growing at the fastest rates that we've ever seen. It's at over 50% year on year. So users love YouTube. Our creators love YouTube as well. And creators come in all forms and shapes and sizes. And they're all finding their own voice on YouTube. Every creator, every company, every organization is unique. Whenever I share examples of, how well this person or how well that company is doing on YouTube, I see eyes rolling in the room because in your heads or their heads, they'll be thinking, yeah, that's not really me, I'm in a different place, my organization is different, my government's funding structure is different. Ling doesn't really get it, she doesn't understand us. And I'll tell you, I definitely do not understand your special circumstances that you're facing, your organization is facing. But over the course of my time at YouTube, I've seen many different sorts of companies across the world. And I'm hoping through the examples that I share with you today, you will find inspiration to start doing something or to establish your presence on YouTube. So this is Lindy Sang. Does anyone know her? Okay, cool. Some people in the room. She was born in Ireland, but she now lives in Hong Kong. But she's not known as Lindy. She's known as, or actually better known as, Bubs Beauty. Does that ring a bell now, Bubs Beauty? She's a beauty and life vlogger. She has been on YouTube since 2007, and she now has a combined 3.6 million subscribers on 2 of her channels from all over the world. I'm going to confess, I was like a lot of you guys in the room. I had no clue who Bubs Beauty was until my cousin, much younger than I am, came to me, knowing that I work at YouTube, telling me that she loves Bubs. She watches every video. She watches or she follows her on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, and she buys products from Bubs Beauty line. Bubs found her voice on YouTube 7 years ago with this video. There was another one of her dancing, but not really. This was the one that made her popular. And the comments on the right are from this year. So 7 years ago, she made this video. It still exists on YouTube, and people are still interacting with her, commenting on her video. And they're saying things like, who is watching this in 2015? And some people are saying the video that started it all, smiley face. So this is the young, hopeful girl who found her voice creating homemade videos, sharing beauty tips from Ireland and Hong Kong, and she now has 3.6 million subscribers globally. She has a clothing, she has a beauty line, and she has a 1-year-old son, Isaac. So, was that you? Or do you think you would be Bubs Beauty? Probably not. What about Hat Trick? It's one of UK's most successful independent production companies, established in 1986. What were most of us doing in 1986? We're still in school, we're sending faxes. So we progress with time. We stopped sending faxes, or we rarely send faxes these days. We're sending emails, we're sending WhatsApp messages. And Hat Trick evolved as well. They have created a YouTube channel, and they house clips from their TV shows under it. But more importantly, they started creating content that's more YouTube-y, instead of just uploading content that they've created for TV. So build your brand, be like Hat Trick, build your presence on YouTube through interacting, getting feedback from fans all over the world on what they want to watch. The beauty of YouTube today is that your fans are your creative directors. And they're your script writers too. Gone were the days where you worked at home in your silo, pushing content through one platform. Embrace fan uploads. Be permissive. I just want a show of hands, like, who doesn't recognize this? You do? Surprise. I'm sure everyone recognizes it, especially if you have kids. You'll probably be irked by it as well. So the Frozen effect was amplified and traveled the world because the rights owner, Disney, was permissive about allowing fans to work with the content. Fans created multiple versions of Let It Go, Let It Go, in many different languages. I've watched it in Chinese, in Japanese, in Spanish, in Italian, and fans around the world have created hairdo videos, makeup videos, costume videos of Frozen. Disney embraced all of that, and it allowed fans to create the favorite moments, favorite videos of the property, and hence resulted in the Frozen phenomenon. So if you have a property, if you have something that fans love, I think the traditional mindset it's mine, right? Block it. No one's allowed to do anything with my content. It stays in its original, genuine form. But the world is very different today. Fans who love your content would want to do more with your content. So it's a shift in your mindset. Be permissive, allow them to do so, and they become the best marketers of your content. So it isn't easy making seismic changes in business models. I understand that, because people are used to the way of doing things that have been the last 50 years. Little Dot Studios, it was formed in 2013. It recognized a huge gap between the traditional world and the new world. They've positioned itself as the next generation producer and broadcaster. They create and distribute content to YouTube. They help YouTube creators grow globally, and they help them generate new revenue streams. They also help traditional TV production companies transition online. So they've positioned themselves as being an organization which understands TV and YouTube, which are both very different. And by partnering with both YouTube and traditional TV film production companies, they have found a space where they help partners develop their content and channels that viewers want to watch on the platform. So here's the thing. Companies are establishing themselves in this space because they see the gap and they're filling it. They're creating a business model around it. And as experts and originators of content, why won't you take that step and make that transition yourself? So for a production company to establish presence on YouTube, it's really important to be aware of rights. Be smart about retaining your rights instead of selling them all away from a geographical and usage perspective. Retain sufficient rights so that you can exploit the content on multiple platforms and speak to your audience globally through your own voice, through YouTube. Fremantle is a well-known format company. They've done outstandingly well. They not only consider rights on a geographical global perspective, they recognize that the world is their audience and have worked with local partners throughout the world to create local versions of popular shows. Not only that, they have created a Got Talent global channel on YouTube where they house popular clips from all over the world under one channel. So anyone who loves the Got Talent brand would be able to come to this one hub and watch all of the videos, one after the other. So before moving to North America, I'm sure all of you find some of these characters really foreign, because they are. Before moving here, I worked extensively with partners in China. For some of you who are familiar, YouTube is not launched in China, so you'll be thinking, what the hell is Ling doing in China? Chinese media companies are exporting content throughout the world on YouTube. YouTube's not launched there, but that doesn't stop them from export. That doesn't stop them from wanting to speak to the global audience who wants to consume Chinese content. So during the most recent Chinese president's visit to the US, CCTV, which is the largest largest media organization in China, was live streaming his visit on YouTube. No, a live stream throughout his entire visit. So I just want you guys to do the math yourself. There are 166 million Chinese Mandarin speakers outside of China. The YouTube channel of one of the most successful broadcasters in China now has close to 1 million subscribers on YouTube. So we have 166 million Mandarin speakers globally. There are 330 million English speakers globally. And that's native speakers. I'm not even counting secondary language speakers. So that's more than double the Mandarin speakers around the world. So Canadian producers, content creators, and talents are uniquely placed and are in such an advantageous position of having the ability to create English content that can travel the world, can be consumed by such a huge English-speaking population. So produce for the world from Canada. Yay. So, guys, I just want to show of hands. Who knows all three of these pictures? Okay. Me, 1. 2 out of 3 of these. Okay, cool. Just 1. Okay. And so some of you don't know any of these. That's fine. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm introducing this to you. They're all Canadians. So they're all like you, or you could be like them. Lily Singh, that's the first lady over here. She's, again, better known as Superwoman. She's Indian-Canadian, and she's a YouTube creator. And her face is plastered all over New York, where I just came from. She's on subway, she's on billboards, she's on YouTube, she's everywhere. There's a huge campaign on her going around in New York now. But did you also know that she has 6.7 million subscribers globally? She's Canadian. The second one is Broadband TV. I hope I represent you guys well enough. They're a Vancouver-based multi-channel network, and they've built their business off of YouTube really successfully. And they're one of the top 3 networks globally as ranked by Social Blade. The last one is a little trickier. Does anyone know who they are? No. 1. Fantastic. Okay. So that means you really know your YouTube. Cool. There's Simon and Martina Stulsky. They moved to Korea in 2008, and they made a video to show their parents that they're okay during a period of unrest in Seoul. So they started blogging and vlogging about everything in Korea after that one video, which went crazy. It was just them eating Korean food, I think, at the airport. They became so famous, they quit their jobs as teachers, and they now spend their time making videos, interviewing K-pop stars, and running a cafe in the heart of Seoul. YouTubers are pop culture's biggest stars today. Amy just shared an example. Teenagers today know Jenna Marbles more than they know Brad Pitt. It's true. Although YouTube's reach and skill is impressive, I think one thing that you can't see is the numbers. In the numbers is the influence that YouTube has on popular culture. Last year, Variety conducted a survey of American teenagers, asking them who they thought was the most popular star today. So yes, your Jennifer Lawrence, Katy Perry, they're on the list, but every one of the top 5 stars was a YouTube star. Smosh, Fine Brothers, PewDiePie, Ryan Higa, KSI. I would encourage all of you to try this research on your own. Go home today or tomorrow, ask around your younger relatives, teenagers, kids, who their favorite star today is. And I'm more than certain that they'll be a YouTube star. So globally, YouTube creators are finding success offline. I've shared with you Simon and Martina, who have transitioned from online to offline. They now have a cafe. Lindy, or Bub's Beauty, I shared with you, who has a beauty and clothing line now. So did Grace Helbig. She used to be a waitress at a restaurant. Throughout college, she decided to be a vlogger. Now she's gone on to publish her own book, and it became a #1 New York Times bestseller. And more recently, E! Gave her own show. Besides online stars making the transition to offline, traditional media companies are moving online too. Maker Studios was acquired by Disney. Bell Media launched the Much Digital Studios, and CBC just announced a partnership with Fullscreen just last week. So individuals and companies are making that crossover today or yesterday. We're living in a YouTube-first generation. I think in the past 10 years, the concept of what it means to be popular has truly changed. For 5 years, I've been working with YouTube partners, I've been watching YouTube videos and subscribing to channels. But nowhere have I seen more clearly how YouTube has influenced and changed media and will continue to change media than through my younger cousins. I see them as representing the YouTube-first generation, a generation that turns to online video to educate, to entertain, and to inspire themselves. For the YouTube-first generation, content has to be everywhere, for everyone, and it has to be mobile. It won't be unusual for my cousin to have his or her favorite video or channel from Mexico, Taiwan, Japan, because entertainment is now inherently global. If you take a step back and look at YouTube on a global scale, our most popular YouTube creator is actually from Sweden. Can anyone tell me his name or his channel? Oh, cool, great. You're right. And the Spanish language audience on YouTube is actually one of the most engaged in terms of watch time consumption. Knowledge and talent will be everywhere. It's no more the exclusive property of studios and publishers. My cousins watch an incredibly diverse range of content. They see new faces, they hear new accents, and they hear different points of views on YouTube. They enjoy forms of entertainment that never existed. So you would never turn on the TV and expect to learn how to solve an algebra problem, how to do a magic trick, or how to surf. The type of content that we're considering entertainment today, from how-to videos to gaming and to advertisements, they're all changing. I just want to remind you, that's your audience that you're trying to speak to. Content is today and will continue to be mobile. They'll be constantly connected through mobile, either through watching on their smartphones or using it to control the TV. But more likely, they'll be watching videos on tablets at home or on the phones, like a few of you are doing now, on the go. They expect to be part of the social conversation. They want to be the first person who shared this video amongst their friends. They want to be discussing, interacting with their favorite shows and channels directly on YouTube. And today, they want to watch things on demand, whenever they want it, wherever they want it. Half of YouTube views worldwide today are on a mobile device. So successful entertainment platforms of the future will share 5 characteristics. They'll be global, they'll be diverse, they'll be mobile, they'll be social, and on demand. So that's the world that I see my younger cousins growing up in. And that is exactly the world we at YouTube are creating along with all of you. As I said earlier, we're celebrating a decade of empowering people to create, broadcast, and share through online video. Part of celebrating the wonderful talent means creating new ways for our partners to succeed on and off the platform. So that's the same inspiration which has enabled so many to succeed. I've shared a few examples with you guys today. Some of them are individuals, some of them are organizations in the traditional space who have transitioned online, or companies who are creating new business models around the evolution of online video. And I've also shared successful Canadians. You guys are uniquely placed. I hope some of the stories that I've shared with you have inspired you to start creating and to start reaching to your global audience today. Over the past 10 years, YouTube has become a portrait of our global culture, seen through the lenses and perspectives of people all over the world. It's a portrait built by a community of bold and fearless individuals, built by comedians, gamers, activists, artists, performers, teachers, and pranksters. Built with cats and rainbows and blenders and ninjas and unicorns. It was built on the silly, and it was built on the profound. It was built on curious consumers, brave and talented new creators, and wonderful, innovative partners. Over the past 10 years, YouTube has unleashed a new generation of content creation and creativity that we can't wait to see what happens next. Without waiting too long, I hope that we'll have more new Canadian milestones to celebrate together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ling. Does anyone have a question? We have time for one quick question, if anyone has one. Oh, one left?
Please wait for the microphone. Yep. Thank you.
Is there a microphone? Yeah. I have a large voice, I can just speak.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Ling Lin, thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yep, without the mic, I can still hear you.
Thank you so much for sharing today and also opening up some of this to my traditional media mindset. I guess what I'm curious is kind of how you can address this audience, which is, as a filmmaker, we're looking at what we heard here yesterday is kind of the schism that's dividing within media between the Games of Thrones of the world and the PewDiePies and the Awesomeness TV, and how we're kind of coming in from two directions, and in some ways it's separating more. So I guess the question is, I've sat down, I've got good friends. Sandeep Purit's a good friend of mine who did The Legend of Neil, was involved with the Guild and Felicia Day and all that. I've sat down with him and I said, okay, how does this work? What do the revenue streams look like? He did The Legend of Neil, got picked up by Comedy Central, got funded by Comedy Central. Very, very successful. The revenue stream is pretty dismal. And so you look at this and you go, okay, compared to those of us who are working in traditional media, we look at the business model and we go, sure, if you've got a locked off camera and you're doing some kind of interesting lifestyle video, there's an equation here. So I guess addressing the question of what does the business model look like for traditional filmmakers? How does the revenue share work? How is this a compelling equation? Because at this point, YouTube is online video. It equals online video. There's only one platform. It's almost monopolistic in that way. That's what you have to do. You have to be involved with YouTube. So how does it work? How can you speak to us as filmmakers and say, here's a compelling equation that makes sense. Here's how it's revenue driven. Here's how the advertisers will pay you. Here's how you can spend money and make money.
So, well, thank you for your question. I'll try to answer it. I think the traditional forms of revenue streams from making films or TV content, they will always stay. And it's no doubt that they generate a larger volume or a larger number than the online world does today. But that doesn't mean that isn't going to change. I can't tell you it's going to change tomorrow. The examples that I've shared with you, they are trudging ahead, and they are making sense of this model as well. I think what has been successful, what we've seen being successful, is if filmmakers or TV production companies plan ahead. Instead of thinking of producing content just for TV at the get-go, they think about what other revenue streams there are before producing the content, or even before conceptualizing the new show. Will this property that I'm creating work on TV, on film? Is there a life of its own that I can create spin-offs? And I'm not talking about just bloopers or behind the scenes on YouTube, but creating a format on its own that's associated with the TV content and the film content that you're producing that lives on YouTube. I think that it's, like you mentioned, it's a unique formula, a unique equation that needs to be worked out. A lot of content creators have done it successfully integrating with brands. So that's part of the revenue stream where it comes from, because brands want to reach out to their fans on YouTube or consumers on YouTube. Some production companies have done it well with, like you mentioned, with YouTube stars, because they are the drawers. They are the ones who are able to bring in people who want to watch the content. So I would say I don't have an answer for you because I only know conceptually how it works. There's a lot of planning that goes ahead of time. Think of other revenue sources from brands instead of relying on traditional formats or forms of support or monetary revenues. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank